Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. I don't know if I said this on the episode, or I guess I haven't technically, but I was taking a look at the footage and also editing the footage, and I saw that the recording software I was using was, not very good, because I was using my Live Split or XSplit software, right? The one that I used to stream for it, and it was actually not that good for recording. I don't know if it's just my PC, man. I think my PC is getting a bit older, so some dust is probably on the GPU, which makes it run hot all the time. I think on idle it's about 60 degrees, and I think that's quite hot. But yeah, I changed back to OBS only for recording now, and hopefully it's not going to be skipping frames anymore. Because I was seeing the footage and I'm like, damn, this is not that good. Wait, I think I already said this though. I recorded a video just yesterday. I think I did. Man, my attention span is so low. I guess this is not really attention span, more like memory. So, yeah, enough about my banter. We are back with Grisaia. I think last time we were getting into Amane's route. And also, I actually downloaded a new program to edit videos. Hopefully this one is better. It's also free, surprisingly. It's called DaVinci Resolve. So I might be able to do some technique where I can give you guys like black screen and just zoom in on the text during the sex scenes, and also disable the like voices while I do that, because now I'm able to actually record the game audio and my microphone separately, which is pretty damn awesome if I do say so myself. So let's see if I can do that or not.
Kazami-kun, 少しいいかしら?
Alright, let me try to remember what we did yesterday. I think we we were with Amane, going to school, hand in hand, and Yuji was making excuses, if I wasn't mistaken. Yeah, I think that's it. And Yuji said to himself he's a tsundere. Stupid. Hmm? What?
今日搬入予定の図書室の本が届いたのだけれど、業者が間違えて寮の方へ届けてしまったのよ。
Oh. Now that you mention it, I did notice a truck over there this afternoon. Must have been the one.
それで申し訳ないのだけれど、届いた本を図書室まで運び込んでもらえないかしら。業者の人はもう帰ってしまったし、力仕事だから小峰さんには頼みにくくて。
Very well. I was looking forward to getting some new material in the library myself. I'll lend a hand. I know I'm reiterating this, but one of the reasons why I think I want to show you guys the sex scene is not necessarily show you guys the sex scene. Surprisingly, during the Machina sex scene, I was talking about some very interesting stuff. And I felt like you guys are really missing out by not seeing that dialogue with Yuji and Machina during the sex scene. Well, not during, but like, especially the start of the sex scene, it was very emotional. So I feel like it really does add to the story. And I really want to put that on YouTube somehow. So hopefully I can edit it out. I also don't really want to make too much of a difference between, you know, YouTube stuff and also Patreon stuff. I don't really want to block my stuff on a paywall.
そう、ありがとう。そう言ってもらえると助かる。
Sorry. Just need me to lug them over here?
ええ、運んできてもらえれば、あとは私が棚に並べるわ。
Roger, let's get started. It's pretty rare for Sakaki to ask someone for help like this, and unexpected. Above all else, she's a proud woman, and I'm sure I rank among the very last people she'd ever want to ask for help. So when she swallows that pride and turns to me, I can't very well just shoot her down. On top of which, I honestly do want more books in the library. That said, I wasn't expecting quite this many. A mountain of sizable cardboard boxes are stacked up next to the dorm's front entrance. Assuming around 24 books per box and 16 boxes in all, I've got a good 384 volumes or so to carry over to the schoolhouse. Might have been a little too hasty in agreeing to that request. I mean, aren't they in boxes though? You can just carry the 16 boxes, that's not that much. Sure, that's like 16 trips though. Well, nothing I can do about it. I accepted the job, so I've got to carry it out. In a situation like this, it's better to get moving before you start thinking too much. If you stand around too long in front of a task like this, it's easy to get paralyzed by your self-pity. This will never get done unless I finish it. Just have to chip away at the mountain. In short, it's something like mowing the maneuvering grounds, in which case there's only one conclusion. Huh. A mere 16 round trips? Don't make me laugh. If you ask the thinking men and women of the world, they'd probably tell you mindless jobs are the most miserable of all. But I'm not one of those people. By nature, I'm well suited to this sort of simple work. Me too, actually.
あれ、ユージ？また何してんの？こんなところで。
Hey, Sakaki asked me to help get some new books over to the library.
へえ、そうなんだ。この段ボールなんだろうって思ってたけど、本なんだ。手伝おうか？
No, that's alright. You were just heading out on some errand, right?
まあ、夕飯のお買い物に行こうかと思ってたんだけど。
Then that's your job at the moment. I'll take care of this.
そっか。じゃあ、今日の晩ご飯は、ユージの好きなものにしてあげる。何が食べたい？
Anything's fine.
その意見が一番困るんですけど。
True. My sister actually always complains to her kids when she asks them what they want to eat and they just like, whatever. Really? I was trying to imply that anything you make is delicious.
もう、おだてても何も出ないわよ。
Huh. Alright then. Something a bit spicy maybe.
辛いものって言うと、カレーとか麻婆豆腐？
Ooh, mapo tofu is great. I'll leave the details to you. Just feel like something with a bit of a kick to it.
わかった。それじゃあ何か辛いものね。
Makina's going to eat it too, so keep the intensity reasonable.
了解。そんじゃあ7時ぐらいにはできてるから、私の部屋に来て。
Got it. When asked what do you feel like having for dinner, a man who answers anything's fine is undeniably negligent. But is it just me, or is the woman who demands an answer to that question being a bit unreasonable in her own right? Your average young man doesn't exactly have a sophisticated palate. They can tell the difference between salty, sweet, and spicy, but that's about it. In most cases, they'll find pretty much anything with a strong flavor delicious. I mean, I can't deny that. I'm probably in that category myself. Speaking of which, Amani's cooking seems to have been influenced by the restrained style of her mother's homeland. I can't deny that her subtly flavored dishes sometimes feel a bit lacking in impact to me. Typical young man that I am. That would be the reason I decided to request something spicy, which necessarily demands heavier seasoning. It might be a somewhat risky request to make of some people, but in Amani's case, I'm sure she won't put out anything absurdly hot. It'll probably be reasonably spicy, as a complement to a rich overall flavor. I mean, now that I think about it, I've eaten Amani's cooking many times before, but I don't think she's ever served me anything I just couldn't finish. Probably the fruit of her mom's vaunted training regimen. I see. A well-trained big dog, eh? Sounds about right.
あなた、さっきから何を一人でブツブツと言っているの？
My apologies. Did you find it creepy?
独り言を言う癖は直した方がいいわよ。
Is it really? I mean, I was doing that a lot back when I was still in middle school, and a couple of people did say it was kind of weird. I don't know though, I feel like I was just in my own world. Duly noted. On a different note, can you cook, Sakaki?
何？ 急に。
Well, just my idle curiosity, I guess.
あなた、電子レンジって知ってる？
But of course, the microwave oven is a sacred treasure, dropped from heaven by a benevolent god to save the single males of the world.
そう、その通り。そしてその恩恵に預かるのは独身男性のみにあらずってね。こう見えても私は電子レンジとおヤングの湯切りの腕はプロ級よ。
We were born in a good era, Sakaki.
ええ、本当に。こればかりは親に感謝するわ。
Here are the books.
ご苦労様。どんどん運び込んでちょうだい。
Right. Come to think of it, in this microwave age of ours, domestic cooks like Amani might be a fairly rare subcategory of the female population. That's actually quite true. A lot of my female friends don't really cook anymore. In fact, a lot of them loathe cooking. I mean, I understand that, but I also feel like I would want to have a girlfriend that can cook. Because I myself, while I can cook basic stuff, but I can't really cook like something extravagant. I can make myself some curry. I can make myself like fried rice. And what else? I guess I can make some pancakes. But yeah, not much else. I'd really want for people to actually cook me something. And against that contrast of insipid frozen food and instant TV dinners, warm homemade meals grab the male heart all the more firmly. As a matter of fact, my belated decision to accept Amani's profession of love had a lot to do with that. Cooking is something I mostly handled by myself, for myself. That's how it's been for a long time, even back when I was living with my master. Not to say that JB didn't pop in and whip up a meal every once in a while, but perhaps thanks to her crud, sloppy approach to cooking, I can't say the food ever really felt like a family meal. As for Amani, her evident experience in the kitchen is really striking. Her mother's lessons must have been strict and extensive indeed, and they must have started very young. Amani's approach to cooking is that of a self-assured housewife who spent many years putting food on the table every night. I still remember a little maxim Amani once shared with me. Maxim? Saying, I guess? Every human being has to eat. If a woman can cook, she can marry anyone in any country and manage just fine for herself. Indeed, wise words at the time. I nodded in agreement. From that perspective, Amani is certainly a hell of a woman. You could hardly ask for more, in fact. Any way you look at it, the girl's definitely wasted on the likes of me. Unlike Sakaki, she can cook. Unlike Michiru, she doesn't bark at random like a deranged chihuahua. Unlike Makina, she has a rich, feminine body. And unlike Sachi, she doesn't bottle up her emotions inside. Damn, being very harsh on those people, don't you think, Yuji? Did I hit the jackpot here?
また気味の悪い独り言。
Sorry, Sakaki. Mind if I say just one thing?
どうぞ。
Couldn't hurt to try learning how to cook.
そうね。でも私は料理をしないだけでできないわけじゃないわ。
Everyone that doesn't cook tells themselves that way, Yumiko. In the real world, well, technically in Japan, you guys are... It's very hard to get fat in Japan because they put calories on everything and they have very good education there. But if you guys were living outside of Japan, oh boy, not cooking and getting yourself like into the habit of eating anything and yeah, eating out and anything that you want to eat, you're gonna get fat super easily. You're lucky you're in anime world, Yumiko. In the real world, you'd probably be super fat. Well, maybe not super fat, but overweight for sure. I see. More books.
ありがとう。次々と運んでちょうだい。
Very well. Unfortunately for you, Sakaki, my friend, I spent a long time among women who can't cook, and every one of them has said the same thing. JB being the representative example. I do understand that a female's charm isn't defined by her skill in the kitchen, But when you get right down to it, number one thing men want from the woman in their life is warmth. Next on the conventional list would probably be nursing, followed by entertainment. I don't think I want entertainment from my significant other personally. Like what? I want them to make me laugh? I don't think that's something that my partner should do, technically. Nursing and warmth though, I think I agree with those. In summary, men want hospitality from their partner. If a woman satisfies those needs, it can easily make up for severe shortcomings in some other respect, even physical attractiveness. Although, Amani is pretty near a perfect score in that field as well. She's attentive to detail, skilled at cooking, and ridiculously sexy. Well, ridiculously sexy is pretty subjective. I personally feel like I am not really that attracted to Amani, personally. Objectively speaking, pretty much a perfect choice for a relationship, worthy of a round of applause. But precisely because I think that way, it's hard to get my head around the idea that she'd fall in love with me, of all people. They say women tend to look for promise in their young men, but I hardly think I have anything of the sort. Quite the opposite. Every day brings with it a chance that I'll be rotting in the grave before evening. I'm a worthless stray dog of a human being, a wolf that dressed itself up as a sheep in its pathetic desperation for warmth. There's practically nothing about me to attract a woman like Amane. There's no reason why people fall in love, or perhaps you could say the reasons are frequently impossible to express in words. I do understand that much, but still, I can't help but think, why me? I suppose it's possible she noticed the stink of carrion on my breath and mistook it for the titillating aroma of a wild man. But that's no different from the fleeting, shallow delusion of a middle school girl who gets a crush on a class delinquent. In that case, there's a chance Amani will part from me on her own in time, and end up looking back on this relationship with embarrassment. But that's fine. In the end, whatever Amani sees in me is a mirage, and little girls have to face reality eventually. What's wrong? No longer have the energy to make fun of me talking to myself?
いいえ、独り言もここまで来れば素敵ねと少し感心していたところよ。
Poetic? I don't think so, Yumiko. Think you'd buy a copy of my collected soliloquies?
著書を身内に買わせるぐらいなら作家は諦めた方が賢明よ。
Sakaki, you say clever things sometimes.
でしょ？いずれ榊由美子名言集として出版する予定だから、その時はあなたにも一冊送るわ。サイン付き。
Sorry. Skip the personal dedication. This makes it harder to sell to a used bookstore.
くだらないことを言ってる暇があったらさっさと運ぶ。
Yes, ma'am. Is that really the attitude you should be making when you're asking for help, Sakaki? Man, I keep switching back from Sakaki to Yumiko. Maybe because I think I usually call her Yumiko, really. But Yuji calls her Sakaki because she doesn't want to be called that. Continuing my exceptionally self-centered and repetitive ruminations, I carry over the cardboard boxes one after another. And after finishing the physical labor, I stick around to help Sakaki shelve the books. It's somewhat tedious work, but we pass the time exchanging opinions on stuff we've read recently. Before I notice, it's already past 9 p.m. What the fuck? How long did you do this shit? I thought it was like 2 p.m. or something when we first started the episode. The hell? You serious? Oh, it's too far. It doesn't show me like what time it is. What the fuck? 9 p.m.? How long were you doing that? 16 boxes is not that
ご
many.
めんなさい。こんな遅くまで付き合わせてしまって。
Not your fault. Can't just leave the job unfinished after all.
お詫びにどこかで夕食でもどうかしら。もちろん料金は私が持つわ。
Appreciate the offer, but I've got... Ah!
どうかした？
Crap. completely slipped my mind. But I promised to be at Amani's room for dinner at 7.
あら大変。スオさん待ちくたびれているんじゃなくて？
Well, I'm a good 2 hours late. Don't you think she probably just went ahead and ate?
どうかしら。スオさんそういうところは変に律儀だから、あなたが来るのをずっと待っている可能性もあるような。
This isn't good.
ひどく怒られそうなら、私のせいにして言い訳をなさいな。榊に無理やり手伝わされていたのだといえば、少しは彼女の留飲も下がるのではないかしら。
No, rather than risk making things worse with some half-assed lie, I'd prefer to be honest from the start and apologize. I'm the one in the wrong here. Can't be dishonest on top of it all.
あなた、そういうところで不器用ね。ま、決して嫌いではないけれど。
I feel like that's something that most people should really do, you know? Instead of making half-assed lies or lie straight up, just tell the honest truth and apologize. Be a man, damn it. Or be a woman. Just be a better person, damn it. A lot of people actually do make excuses most of the time, I feel like. Even for the smallest things. I'm well aware that I'm a clumsy man. No need to rub it in.
ところで、あなたとスオさんって男女交際的な意味でお付き合いはあるのかしら？
Yeah, I guess Amani has become my girlfriend, somehow or other.
そう。
Sorry, wasn't really trying to keep it a secret or anything, but kind of wanted to avoid a big fuss, so I decided not to bring it up until somebody asked.
まあ、最近のあなたたちを見ていれば、言われなくてもそれとなく察しはつくでしょうけどね。
Really? Well, I did figure you'd notice eventually. With the others, not to put too fine a point on it, but they're more on the oblivious side of things.
そうね。松島さんあたりは、はっきりと言葉にしなければ、いつまでも気がつかないかもしれないわね。
You have a point. In her case, a preemptive announcement might prevent a lot more hassle down the road.
そうなさいな。一時的に機嫌が悪くなるかもしれないけれど、きっとあなたたちを祝福してくれると思うから。
Yeah, I'll do that.
何にせよ、今日はご苦労様。スオさんには私からも謝っていたと伝えておいてもらえるかしら。
Got it. I'll pass that on.
それじゃ、また明日、学校で。
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Alright then, guess I'd better head to Amani's room. I told her I'd be there at 7, and it's now a solid 9:15. I'm a full 2 hours and 15 minutes late. Amani may not be the type to bark for no reason, but this surely warrants a good yapping. I enter her room fully prepared for such an eventuality, but the outcome is surprisingly painless.
おかえり、ユージ。どうする？すぐにご飯食べる？それとも先にお風呂にする？
It's not like I particularly wanted her to get angry at me, but this completely nonchalant attitude is almost creepy.
お風呂にするなら急いだ方がいいよ。あんまり遅くなるとさっちゃんが大浴場のお湯を抜いちゃうから。
Right.
私の部屋のお風呂でよければいつでも入れるけどどうする？
Let's eat first. I'll take a bath in my own room.
そう？じゃあすぐにご飯の用意するね。温めるだけだから座って待ってて。
Yeah. Thanks. Hey, Amane.
何？
I said I'd be here at 7. I showed up well past 9. Didn't even get in touch. Aren't you angry?
そりゃまあ面白くはないけど、こんなことになるんじゃないかなって気はしてたしね。榊さんの手伝いをしていたんでしょ？
Yeah, man. The more I think about it, the more it's so improbable that someone like Amane exists. People aren't this kind, damn it. You are too perfect, Amane. There is something wrong with this. I get it, this is 2D, so it's like a fantasy thing, but I just can't accept someone like this. Really. Maybe that's the reason I dislike Amane, because she's too perfect. Yeah, that's right. Not that it's her fault. She just asked me to carry over those boxes, and I finished that by 6. I decided to stay and help put the books away on my own initiative.
わかってるって。だから別に怒ってないし。それとも怒ってほしいのかな？もうブンスカだぞーみたいな感じで。
Seriously annoying.
でしょ？だから怒ってないってば。でも次にまた遅れるときは事前に電話とかもらえると安心するかな。
I'll keep that in mind.
はーい、お待たせ。辛いのがいいって言うから麻婆丼にしてみた。ひき肉の代わりにあんたの大好きな豆を使って作ってみたんだけど、どうかな？
Let's see. Amane places the spicy tofu and rice dish in question on the table, along with a side of Chinese egg soup. At a glance, it seems a perfectly normal mapo bowl, but closer examination reveals the standard minced pork has indeed been replaced with finely ground beans. Vividly pale buds of garlic create a nice visual contrast, stirring my appetite. I push my Chinese spoon into the mapo bowl, scoop out a large chunk of rice covered in the thick bean paste, and take a bite. A rich flavor instantly fills my mouth. A moderately sharp, spicy tang provides a nice accent. Nice work. This is really good.
でしょ？よかった。
You really can make anything delicious, can't you?
でもあんたってさ、何食べさせてもうまいって言うよね。本当に美味しいの？
You tried a bit yourself, didn't you?
まあ一応ね。
Then take another bite and see for yourself. Come on, open wide. Look, I'm telling you to give me an on. Open that mouth. See? Delicious, isn't it? You should really have a little more confidence in your culinary skills.
そうかな。
If you're really that suspicious, try feeding me something disgusting as an experiment. I'll tell you exactly how crappy it is.
そんなことできないよ。喜んでもらうために作ってるんだから。
I really truly do. I like the way you kept the spiciness moderate for one thing. Did you season this with Makina's taste in mind?
っていうか私の好みかな。マキナああ見えて結構辛いの平気だし。
Come to think of it, where is Makina?
あの子ならもうご飯も済ませてお風呂も入ったから、今はさっちゃんと一緒に談話室の大きなテレビでいつもの番組を見てるよ。
Ah, right. That one with the lunatic professor who's always getting mauled by wild animals.
それ今日は2時間特番なんだってさ。
Come to think of it, when I passed by the lounge on the way to my room, I remember catching a glimpse of a frenzied Makina gnawing on Michiru's head. Although I pretended not to notice. I bet money Michiru just happened to be passing by when a television-addled grizzly bear went looking for prey. Girl's got no luck, does she?
何が？
Nothing of any value, I assure you. Don't worry about it.
そう？
Having thoroughly enjoyed Amani's considered hospitality, I head back to my own room in order to take a bath. And so I returned to my room, but... Don't me. Why'd you follow me?
だってお風呂に入るんでしょ？一緒に入って背中流してあげようかと思って。
I do think Amani's route is one of those routes where you actually get the sex scenes quite fast, so this might be the trigger for our first sex scene, but we'll see. Yeah, gonna have to go with a no thank you. Don't me either. What are you thinking?
だって私ユージの彼女なんでしょ？だったらそんぐらいしたっていいじゃん。
Let's see, what kind of scolding would be appropriate here? I've come to realize something all too clearly recently. Amani is basically happiest when she's taking care of a man. The more hopeless and childish that man is, the more she enjoys herself. In other words, she's the sort of woman who tends to actively encourage the men in her life to become worthless. play along, and one day I'll end up incapable of scrubbing my own back. Perhaps I should draw a clear line in the sand here. You can wait around all you want, but I'm not going to be taking a bath.
え、じゃあどうするの？
Read a book.
あ、そうなの？じゃあ私邪魔かな？帰った方がいい？
Well, no. I don't mind if you're here, but it's not like there's anything for you to do.
別にいいよ。私はただユージと一緒にいたいだけだから。
That a fact. There may be a number of strings attached, but Amani is my girlfriend. That being the case, if she wants to stay with me, I'm not going to kick her out. But to be honest, I'm so uncertain about this woman in many respects. About her motives, about the depth of her feelings toward me. By coming in close contact with me on a daily basis, Amani will come to understand exactly how dull a human being I am. One day, she'll probably part from me on her own accord. I throw myself down onto the bed and begin to read. I think I talked about this briefly, but I realized that the older I get, the more I am actually resembling Yuji. Like, back when I was younger, for sure, I was trying to imitate Yuji. Like, you know, going on a run every single morning. I could only do that for about 2 months, by the way, and then I stopped. Because, it wasn't because I want to run, it was because I want to become like this guy, right? But now, I actually do exercise every day, or every weekday, and I also go to the gym like 4 times a week. So, I'm actually very surprised at how much more resembling him I am when I'm not actually trying. It's insane. In my workplace, when someone asks, "What are your hobbies?" the young people will inevitably answer shogi or go. And the ones getting on in years will just as predictably respond golf or gardening. All of these have something in common. They're exceptionally safe, conventional interests. Logical enough because the company is never pleased to hear about a hobby that might strongly influence your way of thinking. It might sound like a joke, but if you respond, "I'm a film buff," they'd immediately ask what kind of films. Mention some extreme action movie or gruesome war epic, and you'll get a nasty frown at the very least. Answer reading and you'll get the same treatment. In fact, the limited selection of books sold in the company's store have almost all been strictly censored. So if you want to read freely, your only real option is to use an off day to sneak out to some bookstore in the city. Then read your purchase in one go at some coffee shop or restaurant. Nobody cares how many nudie magazines or explicit pinups you leave lying around on your shelf. But a single mystery novel is off limits. It's a load of crap, honestly. You wouldn't guess it to look at me, but I'm a genuine bookworm. I like books even as a child. And ever since living with my master, I've been reading a little before bed every night at the very least. Would you consider these eroges to be books? I personally don't think they are books. They're like, I guess, graphical books, if you consider them that way. But I'm not really an avid reader myself. Like, I don't really read actual books except for manga back in the day. Nowadays, I don't even read manga. VNs are about the only thing I read nowadays, and maybe some JRPGs here and there. But it's very hard to find games that are actually competent in story writing. Back when I was in a company dorm where reading was restricted, I'd scrape up all the golf and gardening magazines I could find lying around. Poor substitute for the real thing, but still better than nothing. And none of this has changed. When I have empty time, I fill it by reading books. Right now, I'm perfectly free to read whatever I want. That's a genuinely wonderful thing.
ねえユージ、何読んでるの？
Oh, just some book Sakaki finished. She was going to throw it away, so I took it off her hands.
なんて本？面白いの？
The title and author aren't particularly important. Sakaki said it was garbage. It's a translated foreign novel, and according to the synopsis on the back cover, An aristocratic vampire, driven from his country and reduced to living in a public park bathroom, saves a homeless girl on a whim. Some sort of a love story, I guess. At this point, there haven't been any striking developments in the plot, but there was one slightly amusing scene where the vampire tried to make a street corner mailbox into his new home. I guess because he can turn into a bat?
ねえ、女の子が部屋に来てるんだよ。遊んでよ。
Alright, fine by me. What do you have in mind?
なんか楽しいこと。
Be more specific. Okay, you just let me know when you make up your mind.
もうなんだよ。一緒に考えてくれたっていいじゃん。
If you're bored, how about you try reading a book? There's a mountain of ones I'm finished with over there.
本ってこれ？
I point over Amane's shoulder, and she turns around to face a genuinely mountainous pile of books. Kyoji Watanabe, Wings of the Unknown. A.J. Sinclair, The Beast That Trembled. Moving up the ladder, The 7 Habits Holding You Back. Housewives of Friends series, Master the Character Bento. Hibiki Riku, Okada Lives?
ノンフィクションに海外ミステリーにビジネス書に料理本にティーンズノベル。もはや文字が書いてありゃ何でもいいのかってレベルの乱読っぷりね。
I personally never read self-help manuals. Those are most of the time scams, so gotta be careful with those. Most of the time anyway. Like, I don't doubt that there are actual self-help manuals that are pretty good. But most of the time I feel like it's enforcing people to... It's basically propaganda, I feel. There's a wide range, so just pick something that appeals to you.
全部嫌い。
You have the freedom to read. Don't waste it. Or what? Do you hate books?
別に嫌いじゃないけど、もっとなんかないの？
Hey you, stop peeking under my bed.
エッチな本でも隠してんの？
No, can't say that I am. But tell me, what were you planning to do if I was? Read them?
いや、ユージがどんな女が好みなのか、折り癖のついたページ見ればわかるじゃん。やっぱ巨乳派？無視ですか？仕方ですか？頭の栄養が胸にいった女のたわごとにかす耳なんてないんですか？
What do you want from me? If you're that bored, why don't you go watch television with Machina?
せっかく二人きりなんだし、なんかして遊ぼうよ。つまんないよ。
Sorry, I happen to be a lame human being. I mean, it's not like I find the idea of playing around with Amane particularly unpleasant myself. It's just that I don't know any games that a woman would likely enjoy. Amane's not quite as easy to handle as Machina in this regard, since I can't just hand over some half-assed toy and expect her to amuse herself. But I guess the problem is really more on my end, since I'm drawing a complete blank on activities that an adult female would find pleasurable. Through trial and error, I've picked up the knack of appealing to women when I need something. But that doesn't mean I know what appeals to them in general. That requires more understanding of female psychology than I possess. Well then, I'm at something of a loss. Let's see. What did the other women in my life do with their free time? My master wasn't particularly different from me. She loved to read, especially on rainy days when she didn't have anything particular to do. She was content to pass time with a book, a pack of cigarettes, and a pot of coffee. I actually just finished a cup of coffee. In fact, I think it's fair to say that my master is largely to blame for turning me into such a wildly indiscriminate reader as to earn Amane's scorn. Excluding her, I guess that irritating shaggy head Julia, aka JB, would be the woman I've spent the most time with. But she isn't a particularly useful point of reference. After all, when she got bored, that bizarre woman's favorite pastime was cutting my hair. Isn't it getting in your eyes by now? Want me to give you a little trim? As soon as those words were out of her mouth, typically before I even had the chance to respond, she'd hustle me off into the bathroom, wet my head, and snap her scissors together enthusiastically with the maniacal grin of an axe murderer. Within seconds, she'd be shearing off great chunks of my hair. I guess it saved me money on haircuts, yes, but the woman would get so vigorous with her scissors that she'd frequently end up cutting my ear along with the hair. Really? That seems like super sketchy. Even my saint-like patience gave way on a few occasions. But contrition is a foreign concept to that woman. In another month, she'd be brandishing her shears again. Anyway, I'm pretty sure cutting my hair isn't Amane's idea of a good time, so I've still got nothing. That said, if I keep up this silence much longer, she's probably going to get sulky, which I'd really like to avoid. I guess I should at least own up to this regrettable state of affairs. That should demonstrate that my intentions are good, if nothing else. Alright, I got it. If there's no easy answer, we can just discuss the matter at length. I closed the book in my hand with a decisive thunk. Apparently perceiving a mild tinge of irritation in my action, Amane jerks up straight. Her body trembling slightly, she looks up at me with puppy dog eyes. No, I'm not really angry or anything. You'd certainly think Amane is a tough, thick-skinned woman, judging from her habitually confident attitude. But that's nothing more than an act. Assume for the sake of those around her who need a big sister in their lives. I forget exactly when, but the girl once evaluated herself as a natural-born masochist. If anything, her true nature seems to lie more on the timid, faint-hearted side of things. I'm going to call it quits on the reading. What do you feel like doing, Amane? Anything's fine. I guess I don't mind, but don't you have any other ideas? Guess there's nothing for it then. Amane brings out her standard gag. Taking it seriously tends to lead to headaches. But at this point, I'm pretty sure she just wants me to pay attention to her. So I guess it won't kill me to play along with the joke every once in a while, if that's what she wants. You can go first. Don't want me staring at you washing yourself, do you? As she speaks, Amane begins to undress in front of my eyes without a hint of hesitation. She walks around half naked in the first place, so it doesn't even take a minute for her to get practically nude. As I watch her work, I begin to get slightly exasperated. Come on, how far is she planning to string this out? But in the next moment, she's peeling off her bra and panties as well. Hey, hold it! I guess we are going to have sex? At this point, I'm no longer able to keep up the straight man role. Amane frowns, apparently finding my shady smirk somewhat suspicious. But in the end, she can't manage to back down after coming this far. Without saying another word, she quietly leans her body into my open arms. She trembles slightly against me, unable to completely conceal her anxiety. I gently envelop her in my arms and stare deeply into her eyes. And continue to stare. Look. Close your eyes already. I want to kiss you. Flustered, Amane squeezes her eyes firmly shut and thrusts her puckered lips out in my general direction. What a comically ugly face she's making. At the moment, I find it more cute than anything else, but if she's still doing this a year into the relationship, we're going to have some problems. Well, whatever. The girl's clearly nervous. The innocence behind this ridiculous expression is downright charming. I press my lips to Amane's, enjoying the sensation of her soft, firm skin against my own. Her pants for breath quickly grows sweet in tone. I guess when it's like this dark, I can probably put this on YouTube just for you guys to have a glint of how these sex scenes are. They are definitely a lot more humorous than you would think. Want to open your mouth for me? Amane freezes in my arms, but obediently parts her lips a little. Wider. Like you're at the dentist. What an indescribably idiotic face. Even the most gorgeous women look like complete morons when they close their eyes and open their mouth wide. You are such an asshole, Yuji. I can't restrain a small burst of amusement at Amani's comical expression. But it's more out of affection than scorn. I don't dislike this picture. If anything, I think I'd like to have it framed. Well, you're too damn cute, Amani. Couldn't help it. I forcibly seal Amani's lips, cutting off her abuse midstream. Squeezing her tightly against me, I launch an all-out assault before she has the chance to regroup. A textbook offensive action. Hey, I wasn't done talking. Cut it out. I'm gonna get mad. Amani's rough breathing gets the message across, even if her words are muffled by my mouth. In an attempt to drive the point home, she makes a tight little fist and swings it toward my side. Not that I allow it to reach its target. Seizing Amani by her surprisingly delicate wrist, I firmly restrain her attempts at crashing around. Before long, Amani yields under my assault. Her knees buckle under her, and she staggers awkwardly to the side, knocking her head against the bathroom wall. You alright? Where? Tears of pain in her eyes, Amani points to the spot where her head made contact with the polyurethane paneled bathroom wall. Say what? That's not what I'm saying. Those two are short, that's all. When there's a head in front of me at just the right height, I can't help but reach out and ruffle it around every once in a while. By the same token, Amani's tall enough that the action seems physically awkward. But as she's currently thrusting her head at me like a charging bull, I guess there's no getting out of it. Good girl, Amani. Lovable little punk. Reaching out to Amani's awkwardly placed head, I vigorously muss her hair around. Apparently she doesn't mind. Half closing her eyes in pleasure, she buries her face against my neck and begins to sniff my skin. Kinda feels like I'm playing around with some energetic, oversized military dog. As she nuzzles against my chin, Amani cackles dementedly. Maybe she's grown somewhat light-heated from our extended, sweaty embrace in this humid bathroom. She opens her mouth wide, and then emphatically sinks her teeth into my shoulder. Ah! That hurts, damn it! What kind of habit is that? They do say jealous women tend to be biters. If I let her be, I get the feeling Amani would be perfectly content to gnaw on me for hours. I forcefully tear my shoulder free of Amani's jaws, then slide my arms around her back. Look, I told you it was my turn, right? I'm going to lie you down. Careful not to hit your head. I gently lower Amani onto the bathroom tile, one hand carefully supporting her head. But even now that she's settled securely on the floor, the girl's still clinging to my neck. Alright, I think this will be the end of the preview for you guys on YouTube. Let go of me. Don't give me that. Come on already. I thrust my hands behind Amani's knees and pulled them up toward her head, lifting her bottom toward my face. Alright. That was another, I think, like 15-minute sex scene. So for you guys on YouTube, we are back. What you missed was a pretty hilarious sex scene. Not warming, or not what you'd call super... What is it? Super heartwarming like Machina's, but this one was pretty humorous at the very least. I was chuckling throughout the whole the whole experience. It was pretty funny. But yeah, we are back. Thus, in a sad comment on the casual irresponsibility of modern youth culture, Amane and I made love for no real reason, within a day of beginning our relationship. Yeah, you guys really did it super fast, unlike Machina. You needed like, at least an extra 5 to 10 hours in Machina's route. I think 5 hours. Of course, I don't regret it in the least, and I don't plan to make Amane regret it either. Personally, I approach this transition to physical intimacy as a fairly serious decision. What the hell? What the hell happened there? Amane, on the other hand, appears downright nonchalant about it. This was going to happen sooner or later, after all. Seems to be the extent of her strangely composed thoughts on the matter. Give me a sec, my monitor lamp is kinda buggy. Let me turn it down a bit. There we go. I think the power is a bit off.
いい？エッチしたくなったらいつでもさせてあげるから、もう変なお店に行ったり、他の女の子にちょっかい出したりしないのよ。わかった？
I already gave you my word on that.
これが最後の確認よ。右手を上げて誓いなさい。
I, Kazami Yuji, solemnly swear never to sleep with any other woman other than Suo Amane from this day forth.
よろしい。
Considering how casual she was about the sex itself, the shackles she's attaching after the fact are pretty tight. I've already got a collar around my neck, and now I've picked up a ball and chain too. But I guess that's probably just what it means to have a girlfriend. A girlfriend, eh? A girlfriend. I repeat the word a few times inside my head, but the idea still doesn't seem quite real to me. No matter how hard I try to evaluate the ways in which this relationship will alter my way of life, I'm drawing a blank. The concept of going out with someone is just too foreign to me. That ignorance, in turn, gives rise to a wave of anxiety. I'm stumbling into the unknown here. There's a possibility I made a pretty crazy decision. Still, I suppose there's hardly any use worrying about it now. By this point, Amane's presence in my life was already slowly and steadily throwing me off the balance I'd grown accustomed to. But at the time, I lacked the perspective to understand that. Adding a girlfriend to my life may be a momentous change for me, but it shouldn't really have much of an impact on anyone else. Or so I figured, apparently incorrectly. The first signs of abnormal developments in this regard emerged during the lunch period the next day. As I unfold my boxed lunch on my desk, Matsushima Michiru lets out a sudden yelp.
ユージ、何それ？あんた何食べてんのよ？
It's a boxed lunch. I should be obvious.
だが、でそうじゃなくて、私が聞きたいのは、そのお弁当のおかずは何なのよってことなんだけど。
Well, the main dish would be a charred omelet.
うわ、そう。なんでそんなの食べてんのよ？今日のお弁当を作ったのマキナなの？
No, Amane did.
ちょっとどういうこと？アマネが料理を失敗したのなんて私初めて見るけど、どうしちゃったのよアマネ。まあなんていうか今朝はちょっとぼーっとしてて。なんかアマネ昨日の夜から少し変なのよ。話しかけてもあーとかうーとか返事するだけで私の話なんか全然聞いてねえのよさ。どうしたのよアマネ。なんかあったの？別に何もないよ。ほんとただちょっとぼーっとしてただけっていうか。でその結果がこの卵焼きでしょ。っていうかユージ、あんたもよく平気な顔して食べてるわね。苦くないの？
Don't waste food that a woman made you. That's a rule of mine.
何よそれ。失敗したから食べないでって言ったのに、食べ物を粗末にするなって怒るんだもの。お兄ちゃんはそういうとこ変に頑固なのよさ。
I did tell the girl to try serving me something disgusting, but I wasn't expecting her to put my half-serious proposal into practice the very next day. Amane clearly didn't intend to feed me something this unpleasant, but since I told her I'd be brutally honest in this front, I feel obligated to eat it and inform her if it tastes like crab. But when you get down to it, I'm still the guy who was ridiculed as the garbage eater. A burnt omelet hardly even qualifies as unpleasant compared to some of the stuff I've choked down.
ねえユージ、もう分かったからほんとごめん。残していいんだよ。残ったのは私が食べるし。
No, it's not inedibly bad. I'll finish it.
これっていじめ？
Well, I do hope you've learned a lesson from this. Food should always be treated with respect. Approach cooking with earnest focus at all times.
反省します。何よ、人にお弁当を作らせておいて随分な態度じゃない？
You're the last person I want to hear that from, but I guess Amane's lapse of concentration is partly my fault. That's another reason I'm taking responsibility for her mistake in this way.
それってどういうこと？うわ、いや、それは
I made love to Amane last night.
あっさりと言うな！ちょっと待って。それってつまり、どういうこと？
Did I not tell you about this yet, Michiru? Amane's my girlfriend now. We just consummated the relationship, so to speak. That was a very banshee-like shriek. Is it really that surprising? And Sachi, Sakaki, why are you two shrieking as well? I don't remember either of you being a part of this conversation. Were you eavesdropping?
すみません。でもすみませんです。二人が付き合っているというのは知っていたけれど、スオさん、あなた抱かれたってそんな簡単に。分かってる。それ以上は言わないで。ちょっと、そんな大事な話、なんでもっと早く言わないのよ。いや、私がユージの彼女になったって一応みんなには報告した方がいいんじゃないのって言ったら、面倒だから聞かれるまで黙ってよってユージが。風見さんと天音さんの関係が深まっていたことは理解していましたが、それでもまさかこうも早く肉体に直結するとは。私は少し天音さんを甘く見積もっていたようです。そりゃ目の前に父放り出してボルンボルン揺らしながら歩いてる女がいたら、お兄ちゃんじゃなくても飛びつくのよさ。ちょっとマキナ、あんたは2人のこと知ってたの？まあ付き合い始めたってのは知ってたけど、昨日の夜にそんなことがあったとは知らなかったのよさ。あんたはそれでいいわけ？何が？だってあんた結構ユージに懐いてたじゃない。あんたはそれでいいの？私が欲しいのは彼氏じゃなくて父親とかお兄ちゃんとかそんな感じのだし、お兄ちゃんは別に今まで通りずっとお兄ちゃんでいてくれるって言うし、何も問題はないのよ。そう逆に聞くけど、チルチルはなんでそんな興奮してんの？お兄ちゃんとアマネーが付き合うの反対？そうじゃないけど、急に言われても。ねえユミコ、私に振らないでくれる？私は別に2人が付き合おうと別に異論はないし、ちゃんと節度さえ守ってくれればね。私はこうなるであろうことを20年も前から予想していました。
I don't think you are 20 years old right now, Sachi. Tell me, Sachi, how old are you supposed to be?
結局のところ、みんなどうなのよさ。やっぱあれか？あれなのか？何よ、あれって。あれはあれです。どうしましょうか、榊さん。そうね。やはり学園長を含めて
We already saw this in Machina's route, but I guess we're seeing it again in this route.
あれか。まあ仕方がないよね。
What are you people talking about? I have no idea what this you know what is. Mind explaining?
あんたは男の子だから知らないでいいのよ。ほら、お弁当食べ終わったのなら午後の授業の準備をしよう。
We've got electives this afternoon. I don't have a class next period.
だったらさ、私夕飯の買い出しに行くから付き合ってね。
I don't mind, I guess.
じゃあほら行こう。ね、早く早く。
Look, I said I'm coming. Don't yank on my arm.
それじゃあ私とユージは買い物に行くから、あとはよろしくね。はーい、いってらっしゃいなのよ。
Something's going on here. I'm pretty damn thick-headed when it comes to the ways of women, but even I can gather that much. In the male world, there's an unfortunate tendency to make important decisions in smoke-filled back rooms rather than at the conference table. Women no doubt have their own private spaces and procedures for secret talk. This is nothing but a guess on my part, but it seems entirely likely that our classmates are currently holding some sort of trial-like ceremony to debate my relationship with Amane. I'm willing to bet that Amane is fully aware of the specific nature of this ritual, and that she's going to be the main topic of discussion today. Since she's nonetheless discreetly exited the scene, instead of remaining behind to plead her case, it's likely that she's somewhat confident about a positive result. On the other hand... Hey Amane, tell me something. What do you plan to do if they decide to oppose our relationship?
そうね。どうしよっか。
You haven't even thought about the possibility?
なるようにしかならないし、なんとでもするわよ。そういうあんたはどうする？もしみんなに反対されたら、私と一緒に駆け落ちでもしてくれる？
Eloping, huh? Sounds like a pain in the ass.
あれ、冷たいな。私はユージが一緒なら、どこまででも逃げるのに。
All well and good if it's a problem that can be solved by time and distance, but retreat blindly and you may end up backing yourself into a corner. In most cases, I'd rather stand and fight.
立ち向かう？
Well, not exactly. I'd probably pretend to flee in order to lure our enemies into an open pursuit, then crush them one by one. Since I'd be bearing the added responsibility of protecting someone, in this case, that'd be you, that strategy is probably more sound. What's wrong?
その時は私も戦うよ。一人だけ守られるのなんて嫌だよ。
Why are you getting all serious? We're just talking about our classmates' opinions of our relationship here. If anyone objects, all we need to do is talk it over and persuade them one by one.
そうだよね。私何言ってんだろう。
Huh?
でもユージ、あの後みんなで話し合いをするってよくわかったね。
It was pretty clear from the way they were acting. You dragging me out of there forcibly for no real reason was also something of a hint.
まあ無理やりだったのは認めるけど、買い物に付き合ってもらうつもりだったのは本当だよ。
Well, if you need help carrying groceries, I'm always available.
今日はね、夕飯の買い物のついでに下着を買おうと思ってんの。
Oh, for some reason, I'm getting a bad feeling about this.
ね、ユージはどんな下着が好き？一緒に選んでよ。
Something pink? Well, you're not talking about me, Amane. I guess you're talking to Yuji. I guess I don't particularly mind, but I think you buying that stuff secretly would make it more enjoyable when the time comes to show it off.
お、そうか。言われてみればその方がいいのかも。
I'll wait for you outside the shop. Just pick out some that you think I'd like.
だからさ、ユージはどんなのがいいの？
My preference is... Hard question. I mean, when you get down to it, it's a piece of cloth I tend to rip right off.
じゃあさ、方向性だけでもいいよ。可愛いのとエロいの、どっちがいい？
A A mixture of both? Let's see. Given your personality and figure, sexy underwear would probably be more appropriate. Then again, a simple cute set would make a great contrast to the exact same reason. Or the exact same reason.
そうかな。悩んじゃうな。ちなみに JB さんはどっちのタイプ？
Let's see. JB. I guess she prefers cute underwear in general. But she's not the most attentive to that stuff. On off days, the top doesn't even match the bottom.
へえ、そうなんだ。へえ。
Ouch! Hey, what the hell? Don't pinch me.
なんで JB さんの下着のこと知ってるのかな。しかも割と詳細に。どういうこと？
Come on, we did live together for a good year, you know?
へえ、それって私初耳だけど。なんで黙ってたの？
What? I told you before that I leeched off JB for a while before coming here.
でも恋人じゃないってはっきり言ったよね。なのになんで下着のこと知ってるの？
Well, a perfectly reasonable question. Let's clear up your doubts once and for all.
え？どうするの？
Call JB. I take out my private use cell phone from my pocket and enter JB's number, then press the call button without a moment's hesitation. Whatever I say will probably sound like a lie. Might as well get the truth of the matter from the horse's mouth.
あ、それはそうだけど、そんな急に。
It's me.
なんの用よ。
What's wrong? You seem a bit cranky.
こうしてあなたから電話がかかってくるときは、決まって面倒な話だからよ。さっさと要件を言いなさいな。
Yeah, here's the thing. I recently decided to go out with Amane. We're gonna have to break up, JB.
はあ、別れるも何も別に付き合っちゃいないでしょうが。何言ってんのよ。
Hear that, Amane?
何？あまねちゃんそこにいるの？
Yes, she didn't take too well to learning that I've washed your panties. Would have been a hassle to deal with unfounded jealousy, so I decided to get in touch.
ちょっと！私はあなたにパンツ洗わせたことなんて。
Please, too many times to count.
そりゃ、まあ、仕事が忙しい時とか、たまに、そういうこともあったかもしれないけれど。
You seriously not remember? You completely gave up on doing your own laundry within 2 weeks of me moving in.
うるさいわね。そんなことを言うために電話してきたわけ？
No. Sorry to report after the fact, but I really am going out with Amani now. Since you're technically my guardian, I thought I should let you know.
何？付き合うって、本気であまねちゃんと付き合うつもり？
Yes, that I am.
だってあなたは、あなた、自分の立場は正確に理解している？
I do. That's why I went out of my way to formally report this to you.
あまねちゃんと電話交わって。
Very well.
私？
Seems JB has something to discuss with you.
もしもし、あまねです。ああ、あまねちゃん。あなたも随分と早まった真似をしてくれたわね。ユージに告白でもしたの？はい。でもなんで私が告白したって？ユージはね、自分から告白するような立場じゃないのよ。それってどういう？その辺は少し複雑なのよね。まあ簡単に言っちゃえば、ユージは社会に貢献するための保護観察期間中とでも言うか、とにかく女の子とお付き合いするにもそれなりに手続きが必要な立場なの。理解できる？いえ、全然。それでいいわ。今後もユージと付き合っていきたいのなら深い詮索はしないこと。はい。それにしても、やっぱりこうなっちゃったのね。やっぱりって、初めてあなたに会った時からこうなるような予感はしていたのよ。あなたおっぱい大きいし。はあ。どうにも902、いえ、
ユージは胸の大きな子に甘いのよね。
そうなんですか？その割にはなんか余り肉とか胸の贅肉とかむちゃくちゃな言われ方をしたような。
ユージはほらツンデレだから、とりあえず大味だとか言ってみて嫌ってるふりをしているだけよ。
Shut up, JB.
はい。
あ、そっか。私に一番聞きたいことってそういうことじゃないよね。ごめんごめん。私とユージの関係だけど、簡単には説明できないのだけれど、あなたが想像して心配しているような関係ではないわ。だから安心していいのよ。
それって。
恋人でもなければ経済的な理由でつながる愛人でもないし、ただの保護者。
Quid pro quo sexual relationship? The fuck does that mean? The hell?
というか、今は一緒に暮らしてもいないし、私は彼の身元保証人で職場の上司。ただそれだけの関係よ。
はい。
安心した？
まあ一応は。
本ばっかり読んでるから博識に見えるけど、意外と常識知らずだったり、柔軟に見えて頑固だったり、女慣れしているようで肝心なところで女のこと何にも分かってなかったり、いろいろと面倒だとは思うけど、今後も仲良くしてあげて。
わかりました。すみません。はいって言おうとして噛みました。
あまねちゃんかわいいのね。ユージに代わってもらえる？
はい。ユージ。
Done already?
ありがとう。
It's me.
分かっているとは思うけれど、仕事のことは内密に。
Right. Don't worry.
それと、
What? You can give it to me straight, whatever it is.
まあいいわ。あまねちゃんのこと大切にしなさい。
Yeah, that's the plan.
私からは以上よ。
I don't have anything else to report either. I'm ending the call. Alright, you understand now that my relationship with JB isn't anything you need to be worried about?
まあまだなんかすっきりしない気はするけど、一応はね。
If that wasn't enough, I guess the only remaining step would be for us to have passionate sex before JB's eyes.
いや、それはさすがに無理だわ。
When you can't get the message across with words, demonstrate it through action. That's a rule of mine.
この男は本当にかっこいいのかバカなのか。多分バカなんだろうな。
You say something?
なんでもないよ。とにかくよくわかんないけど、私はユージの彼女ってことで何も問題ないんだよね。
No problem whatsoever.
じゃあいいよ、納得する。下着はまた今度ユージに内緒で買うから、晩ご飯の買い物に付き合って。
Very well. She looks cool and composed, but she's got quite the jealous streak. She seems to be tolerant and forgiving, but she nags about the smallest things. In those respects, I can't help but think Suo Amane actually somewhat resembles JB. But even I'm not stupid enough to compare the girl to another woman, just as she's finally gotten into a good mood. I silently follow Amane's plump ass and accompany her on the grocery trip. Having finished our shopping and returned to the dorm, Amane and I find our classmates lying in heaps on the lobby furniture, limp as corpses.
何？みんなどうしたの？なんかぐったりしちゃって。
Oh, I guess we're not gonna see them, talk it out like in Makina's route.
まあ、いろいろと意見が出て、思ったよりも白熱した討論会になったわ。そうなんだ。それで結果は出たの？一応結論を見たわ。そう。ユージ、買い物付き合ってくれてありがとう。悪いんだけど、買ってきたものを冷蔵庫の中にしまっておいてくれるかな。
Got it. This discussion isn't for male ears, right?
ごめんね。そういうルールだから。
I don't mind. If it's a rule, I'll follow it.
後でユージの部屋に行くから。
Fine. I take all the shopping bags in my hands, swing open the door to my room, and leave Amane alone with the others.
それで結局どうなったの？
結局は賛成に反対1、返答保留2ってことになったのよさ。
なんか微妙。返答保留って何？保留意見を提示したのは私と学園長よ。まあ保留とは言っても私は賛成はしないというだけで反対というわけではないわ。当人同士で合意を得ているのであれば何も問題はないけれど、私は責任を取らないという意思表示ね。学園長にしても基本的には私と同意見ね。付き合うのは構わないけれど、教育者としての観点から言えば風紀上あまり好ましくはないといったところね。
私とサッチンは賛成したのよ。ただし条件付きだけど。
条件？
彼女の座はアマネーに譲ったとして妹の座まで明け渡すわけにはいかんのよさ。イリスマキナは連合軍に対しお兄ちゃんの膝の上という領地の自由使用権を要求するのよ。
膝の
お兄ちゃんの膝の上に乗ってちょっとイチャイチャするぐらい多めに見ろよと声を大にして言いたい。この要求が受理されない場合、私イリスマキナは断固たる態度で2人の交際を拒否。本土決戦も辞さない覚悟があるのよさ。
上？本土決戦ってなんか最近のマキナって有事の変なとこばっかり真似するよね。
返答を聞こう。
まあいいんじゃない？膝ぐらい。
そんじゃこのお兄ちゃんの膝の上における領土の安全保障条約に署名をするのよさ。
っていうかあんたわざわざこんなものまで用意したわけ？
こんなものとは何ですか？こういうのはしっかり決めておかないと後で絶対に喧嘩になるのよ。
っていうかさ、この附則第4条の項目にある一緒にお風呂に入っても怒らないことっていうのはどうなんだろう。
They always do that, Amane. Thankfully, you're one of the smart ones that read fine print.
ダメ？
ダメっていうか、そうね、私に黙って入らないって約束できる？
約束する。
じゃあ事前申請と承認を要すってことで。
おっしゃ、ほんじゃそれで。
ということは次は私の番ですね。もしかしてさっちゃんも何か要求があるわけ？はい、とは言っても極めて軽微な要求ですので、まずはこちらを。なーに？またなんかの安全保障条約？いえ、どちらかといえば統治権です。統治？はい、風見さんが天音さんとの交際を始めた後も私、小峰幸に対する接触を許可していただければと思いまして。接触って具体的には？ご存知かとは思いますが、風見さんは日々いい子にしている私を見かけては頑張っているなと頭を撫でてくださいます。言い換えればこの行為は風見さんの手による私の頭部への侵略行為です。お恥ずかしい話なのですが、ここ最近の私はその風見さんによる侵略行為に慣れてしまったといいますか、むしろその侵略を糧に日々精進を重ねるありさまでして、それを急に取り上げられてしまえば、私は今後何を支えに奮闘すればよいものかと視野に暮れてしまいます。
These girls are crazy.
つきましては、小峰幸の頭部に対する侵略行為の責任として今後も風見さんの手による統治を求める次第であります。さらっと難しいこと言ってるけど、要は ユージがさっちゃんの頭を撫でても怒るなってこと？
いかにもです。
別にそれぐらいで怒ったりしないし、全然問題ないと思うわよ。
それを聞いて安心いたしました。では念のためこちらの書類に欠板を。
欠板って怖いな。後でハンコ持ってくるからそれで勘弁してよ。
はい、ではこれで私もお二人の交際を全面的に支援いたしますことをここにお約束します。どうかお幸せに。
ありがとう。ということは残る反対票1はあんたってわけね。なんで反対なのか聞かせてもらえる？
だってあいつわけわかんないし。
わけわかんないって何が？
だってアメリカにいたって言うけど具体的に何をしてたのかなんて全然わからないし、なんか変な金髪の女と付き合いがあったりとかさ、なんか怪しいよ絶対。
確かにね。でも私だって自分のことみんなに全部話してるわけじゃないし、そういう子だからユージもこの学園に来たんじゃないかな。
それは分かってるわよ。
問題を抱えた子は恋愛をしちゃダメ？
そんなこと言ってないでしょ。そうじゃなくて、もうちょっと慎重になってもいいんじゃないのってそう言ってんの。あいつのことまだ何にも分かってないのよ。
でもね、私はそれでもいいと思ってる。今日ね、ユージと買い物に行って少し話してみて、これでいいんだって改めて思ったの。それは私の自己満足かもしれないけど、それでも私はユージのために生きようってそう決めたの。
Wait, that's it? I thought she was gonna say more. Okay.
どうしてそこまで。
そうね、自分でもうまく説明できないけれど、私たちがここへ来たようにユージもここへ来たということはいろいろな苦労や悲しいこと、辛いこともあったと思うのね。だから私はそれを何とかしてあげたいってそう思っているだけなのよ。
そんなの愛情じゃないわ、同情よ。
そうかもね。それでもそうすることで私自身も救われる、そんな気がするのよ。
Thanks for pointing that out, by the way, Michiru.
だからごめんね、これは私のただのわがままだから。みちる？
ああ、そうですか。そんじゃもう私知らないからね。せいぜい便利な飯炊き女として頑張りゃいいじゃない。もしあいつが IRA のテロリストだったりモサドだったり中野学校の残党だったりしてとんでもない目にあっても知らないんだからね。
みちる、あんたそんなこと心配してたの？
あんたまでそうやって私のこと笑うんだ。どうせ私はバカですよ。そうやってバカにしてりゃいいのよ。いつか必ず泣くんだから。
ちょっとみちる。
知らない知らない、もう勝手にすればいいじゃない。
チルチル待ってよ。どこ行くのよさ。
何よ、ついてくんじゃないわよ。
そんなこと言うなよ。今度お兄ちゃんの膝乗らせてやるからな。
それはうるさい、いらないわよそんな同情。
なんで一瞬迷った？
迷ってない。さあついてくるな。
お前泣いてんのか？
うるさい、お前って言うな。
なんか怒らせちゃったかな。
なんだかんだとおっしゃいましても、みちる様はあまねさんのことが心配なんだと思いますよ。
まあそりゃなんとなくわかるけどね。
みちる様のことは私にお任せください。きっと明日になればみちる様の機嫌も治っていることと思います。
ごめんね、
面倒かけて。いえ、これも私が好きでやっていることですから。それでは私も失礼させていただきます。みちる様、待ってください。それにしてもテロリストだのスパイだのとなんだか
松島さんもおバカの割に結構鋭いところをついてくるから侮れないよね。
榊さん、ユージのことを知ってるの？
なんとなくという程度の憶測を出ない範囲での調べはついた。そういう周防さんは風見くんから何か聞いた？
何も。さっき JB さんと電話で話をしたけど、深い詮索はするなって言われちゃったし。
そう、多分それで正解よ。何も聞かない方がいい。
そうだね、そうする。
気にならないの？
そりゃ気になるよ。でもきっと興味本位で聞いちゃいけないようなことなんでしょ？
そうね。
だったら聞かない。聞かない方が幸せなことってあるよね。
謎の多い男ね、風見くんも。
大丈夫、その謎も含めて風見雄二なんだし。そんな雄二を私はちゃんと受け止めるよ。
あなたも強いのか弱いのかはっきりとしない女ね。
言いにくいことをずいぶんはっきりと言うな。もしかして私の過去も調べた？
Of course you did.
さあ、どうかしらね。
嫌な女ね、あなた。
よく言われるわ。それじゃ私の部屋に戻らせてもらうわ。
言われなくても分かってるわよ。大丈夫、今度は私ちゃんと強くなるから。
And with that, we are going to end the episode right here. Damn, another 2-hour episode plus. But for you guys on YouTube, it's gonna be like an hour 40 minutes or something. Because of how long that sex scene is. Maybe an hour 30 minutes, in fact. We'll see. After I edit out the parts. But yeah. I'm starting to remember why I hate Amane. And I think what Michiru said there was actually the trigger. Now that I know that Amane is voiced by the voice actor that does Natsumi, though, I am a bit more lenient on her, but I still don't like Amane after the fact. Like I said, the route itself is still very good, though, but I just don't like her as a character, you could say. But alright, enough about that. We are going to end the episode right here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. The uncensored version will be on Patreon, so if you guys want that, go to Patreon for the uncensored stuff. And give this video a like and subscribe if you want to. I appreciate that. Also comment, I guess. I don't really know what you guys want to comment on, but I heard that it drives the YouTube algorithm thing. But enough about that. I'll see you guys next time. Let me save my game. And peace out.